All right, hey guys. So I actually caught up on a bunch of films. I actually did watch some of these before I made some of my previous reviews, but yeah, I needed time to sort of take a step back, try to recall some of the moments, and decide to make a review because these movies were just not that good recently. I don't think there were that many good movies. There's one in particular that was really, really good. But the rest of these, they're, I don't know, I guess a waste of time. Moonfall did introduce some interesting sci fi concepts. I believe this was a concept that was out there for like a long time, which is basically the fact that the moon is sort of a mechanical structure, and it serves some sort of a supernatural, or rather metaphysical, not really metaphysical, actually my terms are wrong. Supernatural, I think, is sufficient to say. It's not a magical or anything, but it's some sort of an alien tech. And I believe that it was designed by some, ancestral beings or whatever, and the humans are what are left behind as sort of the remnants of these ancestral beings, and therefore we are behind on technology. And the moon is basically the ultimate sort of form of technology that we had created once upon a time. So there are many versions to this. If you go to Reddit, you can dig up all sorts of mysterious stuff. It's really cool to think about it. But when it came to the film itself, the concept was so poorly delivered that I think we'd rather just read it off some sort of an article. And quite frankly, I think that was the case. As for the actors, we actually have some really good actors. I think Halle Berry maybe was good in previous films, but this is not one where she shined at all. Patrick Wilson just seemed really awkward in this film, and I mean, to be fair, he's a really good actor, and I don't like it when really good actors end up in films that are just really, really bad. John Bradley, I think, he just fit absolutely fine into the film. He had a bunch of quips and short one-liners to just give some jokes, and I think he delivered them really well. But the jokes were just really, really bad, and there's no really any way to save him. Michael Pena doesn't really perform in this film. Doesn't He's not really given the role where he can do much. It's basically about these three. Jacinda Fowler, Brian Harper, and Casey Houseman, who are the sort of the final select three astronauts who do manage to make their trip to the moon. So Moonfall is basically about this mechanical structure, which is the moon, and a bunch of astronauts, basically Brian Harper. Why did I say John Harper? Brian Harper, who's initially in space with his astronaut crew, gets attacked by some sort of an alien life form, and this alien life form seems to be some form of a nanotech, from what I can understand, and it's not really. Specified in the film. There's no real investigation. There's also no evidence they have of capturing the alien tech to study on it. I wish at one point they could actually like fight back the thing to some extent, at least to investigate what it really is. But we never really got to that. They didn't even get a sample of it to test and find out what it really is. They didn't even sort of try to infiltrate it with some other form of nanotech. There's no real intelligence involved in the way they handle this scenario. The military and whatever, we're just trying to go with it really old fashioned. Let's just nuke the crap out of it. And if you think about how the world really works and how people are approaching wars today, especially the recent war that's happening, in Europe. You know who I'm talking about. I don't really want to mention it. I don't want the algorithm to catch me in the wrong way. But yeah, regarding wars like that, how we are approaching things is not directly by attacking the enemy. We are actually doing indirect form of war, where we are limiting the resources, playing it smart, and trying to weigh them down so that we don't create an all-out war. We reduce the casualties, and so I feel that it is really strange that they didn't have any form of intelligence in this film, where they didn't try to like use their brains to try to break down what this nanotech alien thing is. And so this nanotech alien thing apparently targets when there is technology, and it's very vaguely defined as to whether it could be a torchlight, or whether it has to be something with radio frequency. I would like to believe that it is radio frequency, because that's more than often the case. However, there are some scenes where the characters actually turn off their flashlights, because I don't know, they consider the battery as a form of advanced tech. But the radio frequency is the main giveaway. So if there's radio frequency and there's some form of a living being next to it, like biological being next to it, the nanotech creature will attack. And how it identifies whether the biological being is alive or dead, I'm not entirely sure whether it can hear their heartbeat in the vacuum of space, whether it can detect their the heat radiating from their bodies through the space shuttle, because I don't think that's really possible because the space shuttle insulates heat really well. So how it exactly identifies that these biological creatures are alive or dead before attacking them is also really vague. But yeah, you see, these are the things that you should look for in a sci-fi film. You want to tell you that this creature attacks people when they are a biological creature that is beside some form of advanced technology. So you got to define how the creature detects them. Like if you're in a space shuttle, you're basically protected from anything hearing you, because there's no real sound waves that can get through in and out. There's also no heat that is able to be projected from inside the ship to outside the ship, unless the ship itself is emitting heat. That would make sense. But if it's just the ship, this creature should not attack because it looks for biological forms. So yeah, it really really vague certain parts, but nonetheless we went to the point where it was very much a simpler story about this real geeky sort of guy who pretends to be a researcher, a professor, but turns out he's just some sort of a blogger or vlogger or something, and he comes up with this sort of theory, um, or speculation of a theory or whatever, that this moon is some sort of an advanced tech, and this alien creature is coming to attack and destroy the moon. And as a result of the moon getting attacked and destroyed, the atmosphere and the planet is changing, and it could bring about calamity and destroy the Earth. And yeah, so this alien tech is very much hell bent on taking on the moon. It doesn't really care about the Earth. There's no real attack on the Earth, so we don't really get something too massive. And a lot of these scenes that you see happen towards the very last, I think, 30 minutes of the film, because the very early parts of the film are extremely boring. There's a lot of jokes that you're not really sure what they're trying to achieve with so many little one liners, and it's not really funny sometimes at all because you're trying to focus on the story and then joke, trying to focus on the story and then joke, and the joke is not relevant to the story. It's just some sort of a reference, or some other fancy thing that they just want to make fun of. And yeah, all of these that you see here, all these amazing shots, all happen mostly towards the end. None of this happens at the start of the film. There's only one real major attack scene at the start of the film, and that is when the alien first attacks the astronaut team. Then later on through the film, they try to nuke the alien entity in some way, and it doesn't really work out because the alien entity is able to detect the radio frequency. It goes and attacks the people who are trying to blow it up, and avoids approaching the bomb altogether because the bomb did not have a biological entity beside it. And towards the end of the film, someone decides to commit suicide because you need a biological being next to the radio frequency. So obviously, you need to have someone self-sacrificing themselves in order to detonate the bomb to kill the alien creature. Nothing really new here, but yeah. Nonetheless, we did get some cool shots in this film, and I think it deserves at least a point for that. As for the acting itself, it's really, really bad, despite having such good actors and such. I mean, quite frankly, I think these actors could have been used really, really well. I mean, Halle Berry is really good. I'm not kidding you. You guys should check out like some of her older movies. And Patrick Wilson, I think I don't have to say this, everyone knows him. Even John Bradley has quite a bit of potential. Doesn't really do serious roles that well, but I think the comedian they had in him, they could have shown him in a more serious light, and kept the comedies to a minimum, at least until they're really necessary. Because there's some parts he really cracks jokes when they're all in some serious moment in the ship, and you can see the pain, or rather the control of pain in Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson's face as they try to pretend like that's a good joke. It really hurts just watching some of these really cringy scenes and moments. I think the rating in IMDb is pretty fair, 5.2 for, yeah, 46,000 votes. But I'm gonna go a little bit lower and give you guys what I think this film really deserves. Let's see. There we go. 2 out of 10. I think it's really fair for me because this is a film that no one is ever going to watch again after the first time. And I think that should be really the way because we really want to prevent this kind of films from ever being made. It is an absolute waste of money to spend on a film like this. And yeah, I guess I like these kind of movies even though they're silly. That's nice of you, but even the guy who likes these films gave it a 5 out of 10. So imagine the people who disliked it. So yeah, I think it's really like how much did they spend on this? 150 million? Oh my God. Okay. I think a digit less would have sufficed for this because it was honestly nowhere near its value. The graphics perhaps would have competed against films maybe 10, 15 years ago, but today it's all, seen and done. There's no real, ingenuity. There's no real, uh, sort of some new ideas basically to back up the science fiction sort of film that it's supposed to be, or at least what it is marketed as, which is Moonfall. I mean, look at this picture, this poster. This poster is what is used to market this film, and this poster has nothing to do with the film. It's not about three astronauts trying to take on the moon or take on the alien. They just have a little cruise to the moon towards the end of the film, and then they detonate themselves to defeat the alien. That's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. And the rest of these shots, no doubt, they look really cool. They don't really play much of a role in the film because, the course of history continues to be changed, and these characters don't seem to, be able to do anything to effect to prevent it or seem intelligent otherwise. There's like really no hope for humanity other than someone just blowing themselves up. So yeah, I guess there it is. And my main point is the fact that if this film is all about this technology that is so advanced, that is so beyond mankind, that was created once upon a time, I'm so sorry, my text messages keep coming in. Let me cancel that. So yeah, if it is about this advanced technology that was created once upon a time, I wish that they were heading there to a far more advanced technology, because one of the characters does end up in this moon and gets information regarding the technology at the end of the film. I just wish they showed it more so as we have it in us to create such technology, so we should be able to redo what we have done last time. And so yeah, it just ended up with the AI sort of telling a human like, this is all the tech that I can teach you, and teaches a person, and they bring it back to it to continue whatever they're supposed to do. We don't really know what the conclusion is, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is the alien thing. It looks like just another CGI blob, nothing really special. So that's it from me for this one. I'll see you guys in the next. Take care.